Hello, all you amazing and wonderful people. Welcome to the Fluffy Cow Studio. I know that you're amazing and wonderful because only amazing and wonderful people watch my shows. So thank you very much for popping in. I am showing you a picture of the little babies. Actually, just one, the little filly. She was born first. My nephew has had him down in the meadows all summer. And so they would have plenty of room to run and play and have plenty of food to eat. And by dang, look how big she's gotten. She's grown like a leaf. And there is another horse. Okay, I got hacked today while I was trying to do this. I think the program that I use to edit things, I started getting hacked through that. So I had to record this several times. And so part of my stuff got wiped out. So right now I had just made three little round circles for beads in a red, cadmium red, and a primary cyan, which is blue, and white. I'm making three little beads on the top and bottom of each one of these feathers. And I highlighted it with titanium white, and I think right now I am just going back over and doing what is it called? The shadow part. I'm shadowing right there. And now I am taking some burnt umber and some white, and I'm making a little leather strap, and I'm just kind of curving that line so it looks like it's wrapped around that horn. And then I take a line down the bottom, and I will actually be adding some beads to that. And then I'm doing the same thing here. I'm making that curve. However, there's some flowers there, so I'm kind of just going in between the flowers. And then at the bottom of this, I'm making a tassel. And as all I'm doing is using it, going in the shape of a triangle and just drawing lines, straight lines. Right here, I'm adding my beads. I'm just doing a little circle of white and blue and red, or maybe a different order, but I think it's red, blue, and white on this one. I don't know. And now I'm doing the little tassel too. Again, just a triangle, drawing straight line or drawing lines. And then I will, when I shadow and highlight it, you'll be able to see it looks more like a tassel because it's got the little um, what are they called? You'll be able to see the little strings. And now I am shadowing. I'm putting a shadow behind the beads, behind the leather strap and these beads, and then I will do the same on the other side. I'm going to put a shadow right there and a shadow behind the beads and a shadow behind the beads and the tassel. Now this seems like it's, oh, why are you doing that? That's so tedious. But these little things make a huge difference. Now I'm highlighting and I'm just taking a titanium white, and I'm just kind of going over the edge, but it's not going to be a permanent line. It's just going to be sporadic. Doing the same thing over the beads and then over the tassel. And with that, you'll be able to see more detail in the little tassels. Okay, now we're going to go back to the flowers, and I'm taking some primary yellow and I'm going to go over all of these petals. Now don't worry, we're not going to lose our tones and we're not going to lose our depth and whatnot, because this is a transparent color, a translucent color. So it will still, you're still going to have the dark and the light, but I just felt it needed another coat, because when we put it on the fence was kind of dark, and I just felt like it needed another coat. But it's not going to ruin anything. It's not going to ruin your depth and your tones and all that, because we still got them in. It just makes it a little more subtle. It is definitely, they're still there, but it's just a little subtle because this is a translucent color. And I'm going to go around all those little petals. I'm hoping that I filmed. It's been so long since I've watched the videos, or since I edited them and stuff, that I don't really remember if I showed drawing these ones or not. But I did show the one where we put it on the top of the skull in that little bouquet up there. And so if I did not show these, how to make these, it will be up there and I'll show you on that video. And now I may be adding just a little bit of white to my yellow, but I do not just do straight white. Now I'm adding some cadmium green to the leaves and the stems, just kind of giving it some more depth. And I start to draw the stems and leaves of the sunflower in the cadmium green, but instead I end up using a dark green, and that is literally the name of the paint, dark green. So that is what I am using. Now I'm drawing some stems for some more flowers we're doing. I'm going over that leaf and the stems with cadmium green. And I'm painting another leaf with the dark green, and now I'm going over with the cadmium. Now I'm going over with yellow. And I'm going to go on that side with yellow too. And then I will go over it with white. Or maybe I'll wait to do that. Oh, I'm gonna wait to do that. We're gonna make some purple flowers. So now I'm just tapping my brush. I'm just tapping. This is just a small round brush, very small round brush, a little bit bigger than a liner brush, and I'm just tapping. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by making a point, and then it's going to get wider towards the bottom. And if you want to bring it in so it's not quite so wide at the bottom, you can. And some of them I do that, and some of them I just kind of leave them flat there, wide at the bottom. And I'm just tapping. I'm using the color violet. I'm just tap, 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 tapping. And I'm making as many as I want, putting them wherever I want. It's your world. If you're painting and you got a brush in your hand, it's your world. You get to make it how you want. So we're doing some tap, tap, taps. And now I'm taking some white and I'm mixing it with the violet. It might look like I'm doing just white, but I'm not. It's lavender. It's really lightened up. And I'm going across all of these flowers However, I don't want it to cover up all my dark because I do want some tones. But it is lighter purple, and I'm just going all the way, at least on the right. I'm putting more emphasis on the right, but I definitely want to, kind of cover it and leave some dark. But now I'm doing white, and I'm not necessarily doing it all the way. I'm skipping, missing a little bit, but I am doing that on the right. Sometimes I'll wander over and get a little bit into the end just so it's not a complete straight line, but and if I feel like it needs more somewhere I will. And right here I'm kind of going over these ones that we've done before, and I'll be taking some lavender, a little bit of lighter lavender, or not lavender, some violet with some little white in it to make them a little fuller, a little more defined, and then I'll take the white and go over them. Now I'm making some leaves. These leaves are long and thin, so I start at a top. I make a little kind of point at the top and taper them out a little, but they're long and thin, so I'm making them longer and thinner than the sunflower leaves. I'm using dark green, and I am using my liner brush. Now, I've told you guys all this before. I told you that at the early. I think I told you that at the earlier. I've re-recorded this so many times I don't know what I told you or not. But I took the water, I dipped my liner brush into it, I dipped my brush into the paint, got it thin to the consistency of ink, and then I twisted my brush around until it came to a point. And that is how I'm getting these little lines and these little highlights. And I'm just highlighting those leaves. And don't be afraid to do this, and take your time on doing it, because and it may look like it's tedious or whatever, but it makes a big difference if you're trying to get some, get some tone and depth to your picture. I'm just kind of highlighting, taking some white. My paint is wet, so it's grabbing a hold of the colors and kind of blending in there so it's not stark white. I may be adding a little yellow on this little screen, I can't tell, but nonetheless. And here I am adding some white to these leaves. I'm highlighting them a little bit, making a vein or a spine or whatever those things are called in the leaf. Now I'm going over here still doing highlights, it looks like. Kind of can't tell. I should have cut this part out. Okay, now I'm going over. I'm still using the white. I think I was using yellow or on the other times. Okay, now I'm going to do the highlight. Am I still doing? I'm doing shadows. No, I'm not. Wherever the sun is hitting your plant, that's where you're going to put your highlights. Because our plants is standing right next to a fence, there's going to be a little bit of a shadow on the fence. If these were out in a field, I wouldn't need to worry about that. I'd put my shadow on the ground. Okay, so now I am doing the shadow. I really don't know why I didn't cut this out. I think I had been so bogged down with how many times I've had to do this, how many times I've had to edit it, because I got hacked, and the only way I could get it stopped is to turn my computer off, so I'd be in it, and oh, it was just crazy. I think this program I'm using is where they're coming in at, so I'm going to change. I think I'll try Canva and see if it's any better. A screen would show up and say, do not turn off your computer, this is an update or whatever. And every once in a while I could tell that it wasn't just an update because number one, it wouldn't let me do anything, it just had that screen. But my mouse was moving around. And so I end up taking my mouse and just kind of taking control of it. And then eventually, with exiting and all this stuff, it finally quit, but then it would come right back. So I figured, you know what, this has got to be a scam, so I hurried and turned it off, but I lost a lot of stuff in doing it. Okay, I'm going over my feathers again. Do not judge. Do not judge, please. I redo these feathers several times. These feathers were not screaming my niece to me. They were screaming, help! My niece is not flamboyant at all, and so she's beautiful and amazing, but she just is not a person that likes a lot of glitter and glam. But so I took my cayugas, I got the inspiration from my cayugas and my rowan ducks. And my cayugas are black. I don't know, I'm sure some of you have seen them, but they're black. But their feathers are iridescent, so when the sun shines on them, you either get a beautiful green, a blue, or a purple. Mostly green. And so I'm trying to incorporate that into these feathers. I'm using some cadmium green right here. And I'm going to kind of blend them colors in. And I was doing the lines like that so that I could do it with the white so I could add the violet and get the purple and add the blue and get the blue. But then I got realizing they aren't in lines like that. They're really sporadic. So I just kind of blend them together, and then at the end I take some black and draw some lines through them. And when the sun doesn't shine on them, you don't necessarily see the green. So where it's shaded, I end up doing a darker black. Now I'm going on the top here. I took some burned umber and white and did the top of that feather that was black. Then I am taking some white right here, and I'm just doing a little thin line because the rowans have that. They have the brown feathers, and then they have a little row of white, and then there's a little outline of black, and then they have that spot where there's either purple or blue. But um, so in between the white and a little black thing, I have some violet. And here I'm taking my violet again, some white, and and here I'm just taking some white and doing the blue. I'm just making lines. I'm just going straight lines. Or not straight, just whatever lines I want my feather to go. And I'm just drawn those lines. Now the green I tell you is kind of a bluish green, so I did add some blue, a little bit of blue to the green, but I am. And actually the green is the main color that you get in the sunshine, but you do get other colors like the blues and the purples. I think they're beautiful. I think they're amazing. They're my favorites. And then to make that bone, or I don't know if it's a bone or if it's what they call it, I just take the white and go down the middle, still using some white and um, making those little feathers. It looks so bright here with the white, and because the paint is still wet. But you got to remember when your paint's dry, they're going to be darker. And when you see the picture, it's not going to be as bright as what it looks right here. But I am just taking them and then I'm going to redo that bottom feather too because that wasn't right. And I'm using some burnt umber, a little bit of yellow ochre, and some white. And when I painted that, now I'm just adding white to it to brighten up parts of it, or all of it. I'm going over here, and yes, I'm going to do that one the same too. I'm going to make it more of a cayuga. So I'm taking some black and I'm just doing lines through. Kind of hated to do that because I really like that feather, but it just wasn't my niece, I don't think. And maybe it is. Maybe I think I'm being too picky for her. She keeps telling me I'll like what it does because it's from you, but it's no. I'm like, no, I want you to enjoy it. So I am painting around here with black. And this one, I think I've changed it 3 times now, so when I get done with it, it'll be 4. And I'm telling you why I am changing this, okay? Still going with the theme of the rowan, which has the brown feathers, and then they have a little thin line of black, and then a little thin line of white, and then an area that's the purple or blue. And they look a lot like mallards. They really do. And a lot of people mistake them for mallards. And right here, I'm just kind of going through doing some violet. And then I'll put some black in the middle there. But when I get done, it looks like a target, and I cannot quit seeing the target. And I have to change it because it doesn't make my eyes flow well. When I look at it, it's like my eyes stop at the target, stop at the skull, and stop at the other feather. Now the other feather doesn't annoy me too much because the skull takes, is still the center of the attraction, but this target, for some reason, it just didn't smoothly, it didn't make me look at the picture smoothly. And I do change it. I'm going to show you what it looks like to finish though when I get this finished. And then I switch it and change it, but I do that off camera because I had already had this all edited. I just didn't needed to do the voiceover, but after having this hung up and so I could look at it, well, so I could get pictures of it actually, I just couldn't stand that target. So I had to take it off. And I'm just doing a little highlighting here on my other feather. But we're coming close to the end of this video, and we're going to be done with this painting finally. Are you guys just so excited? Yay, we can move on to something else. I don't know why this one has taken me so long. I think I tried too hard to get it perfect because I want my niece to be happy. So I'm just highlighting, we went over with the white, but one thing I noticed when it was hanging up, I realized that there was just so much, there wasn't a break between the feathers, so I ended up kind of shadowing the middle feather and brightening up in places on the bottom so that it there was a division and you could tell there was three. I'm going to say my goodbyes. See, there's that target. Every time I pop it up, I see that target. So anyway, this is the finished project before I finished it again. After I signed it and dated it, you always want to sign and date your material, your art. Thank you so much for dropping in. Thank you for those who are subscribing. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Please share this on your Facebook or social media, and maybe your friends can find it and watch it too and be encouraged by it or create a desire to learn how to paint or do crafts because, we do both here at the Fluffy Cow Studio. Thank you so very much. You mean the world to me. And if no one has told you, you are awesome. I'm just going to let you know that because only awesome people watch my show, right? And I hope you have a very good day and a very good evening. It is raining really hard where I am at, and it's getting a little cool. So, wherever you are, stay warm or cool. And here is the finished project. And it's kind of dark because it's raining so much and it's really dreary, kind of. But I'm going to bring in, see, our skull is the focus. To me, this flows better. And it probably would flow a little better if I took a little bit of the whiteness out of that white, but on the other feather on the right. But I'm going to keep it because I think it flows a lot better. And you see, I kind of broke up those feathers so there's three feathers there. And I guess I probably should do that on the one on the right as well, but that to me flows better and looks better. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Thank you.